Pittsburgh Steelers president Art Rooney explains how the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to retool their roster this season, and also how he believes they can start winning football games again. It starts with the run game, the run offense, and the run defense. Is he stuck in his old ways? Well, first, before I get more into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also, like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, Art Rooney, he's stuck in the old times. He says that the run offense, the run defense are the main focal points of how the Pittsburgh Steelers could get back into relevancy. So let me start off by the quote that he had is in his opening press conference. The very first thing he said this, and I quote, "Obviously, it was disappointing end of the season. Losing 5 in a row is not what we expected, especially after getting off to a good start. So we have a lot of work to do to improve going into next season. After the coaching staff is in place, the priority will be the quarterback position for sure. We have some decisions to make there, and I thought both Russ and Justin showed promise in certain stretches during the season, and I think they both more than capable of being starters in this league. So we have decisions, and they have decisions too. So on the defensive side, it starts with stopping the run, and we didn't do that down the stretch. So we need to figure out how we get stronger, probably on the defensive front. But all in all, I still think we have strengths on this roster that we can continue to build on. Hopefully the offense line is a strength going into the future. On the defense side, I think our linebacking core is still a strength. So we have areas that we can continue to build on and look forward to getting to work here." End quote. So that's the opening just statement that he made before even being asked any questions. But as the interview went on, he started explaining the run game, just the defense, and basically exposed how he's going to retool this roster and what they're going to do looking forward into the future. And it's the run game on both sides of the ball. So let's outline the Steelers' defensive goals. First, before I move into the offense. The Steelers' defensive goals, well, he said this. "I'm not a defensive coach, so I can't get into a great detail on our defensive schemes. I would just say that if you're going to stop the run, you got to be disciplined in your gaps, and sometimes we weren't and not sure why." End quote. So when you look at that and that quote, he also talked about bringing back TJ Watt on a contract extension and things of that nature. So over the Steelers' final 4 games of the season, they allowed 488 rushing yards, 19th in the league. Compare that to the first 13 weeks of the year when the Pittsburgh Steelers just gave up 1,190, 4th best in football. The numbers themselves don't do it justice. The tape told the story. Steelers couldn't get off the field against the Philadelphia Eagles, who ran for 131 yards, even as Saquon Barkley was kind of contained all game. By the fourth quarter, a tired Steelers defense waved the white flag, and then they basically lost the game. And the Eagles ran out the final 10 minutes of the game, basically having the ball the whole possession. The Steelers didn't get the ball back for the last 10 minutes of the game. So the Steelers need to get better at run defense, as Art Rooney is saying, but also he didn't mention the pass defense, because the pass defense is really where it's at for the Steelers. The run defense all season was basically key in getting Steelers off the field, and that was their strength of the game. But their pass defense was what was actually struggling. So if you're looking into what this league is all about now, there's many more quarterbacks who are beating you by throwing the ball than there are teams that are beating you by running the ball. Yes, you could look at Saquon Barkley in the Eagles and then the Baltimore Ravens and Derrick Henry. Other than those two teams, most teams are beating you because of the passing game. So the Steelers really need to get better at the passing game, especially the quarterback position, in my personal opinion. Obviously, Art Rooney, he still thinks it's a defensive run game that needs to be held accountable for, and that's obviously what the Steelers are going to be looking at then. So he's basically just exposing that, hey, Steelers are going to be looking into stopping the run. But now let's move over to the offense, because it's basically the same thing for the offense. He thinks that the key to success in the NFL is still a good, solid run game. So here's what he had to say about that. He said, "We've got to build on our strengths that we can put up together in our room. And I still think that running the ball is a route to success, particularly when you're playing in the north and outside." End quote. But further along in that quote, he said the bottom line is you got to try and win with the talent you have in the building. So when he's talking about the run game, obviously you need a solid run game to balance out your passing game. But like I've said, when you're looking at the run game in the NFL, you look at the top teams, and for example, the Eagles and the Ravens, they're the only two teams that are solely reliant on the run game, and that is carrying their team. Other than them, you look at the Commanders, it's because of Daniels, who's able to be both a passer, mainly a passer, but able to use his legs to escape from passing. And then you look at other teams like the Chiefs. Yes, they have a solid run game, but they're not running the ball and beating you by running. They're beating you by passing the ball and running long, but it's the passing game. You look at the other teams, for example, the Buffalo Bills. It's not really their running game other than the touchdowns. Yes, you could run the ball inside the 5-yard line to get the rushing touchdowns, but who's getting the ball down the field? It's Josh Allen by throwing the ball. You look at other teams, for example, and they're throwing the ball. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you look how they got there. You look at the Rams. Most of the year, they were running the ball with Kyren Williams, but towards the end of the season, it's Matthew Stafford. You look at other teams around the league, and it's passing the ball that's getting it done. Running game needs to be solid, but it's not running game that's going to win you games, especially if you're not the Eagles and not the Ravens. So the way that he's still talking about the run game is kind of hard to hear because obviously the Steelers have not had success in running the football, so obviously they should switch things up. And obviously it's hard to hear as well because he says that he thinks that the bottom line is you have to try to win with the talent that you have in the room. So basically what I'm hearing is he doesn't plan on bringing in anyone that's going to be a big difference maker, because that's basically what he said. You have to win with the guys in the room right now. So hopefully they do end up doing something differently. Hopefully he's not the one calling shots, it's Omar Khan. And hopefully Omar Khan just does things differently and brings in people. Because if you're trying to win with the people in the room right now, that's just not going to work. You look at the Eagles, they had to bring in Saquon Barkley to be able to have that good run game. They had to bring in some other players to have a good passing game. So it's about retooling your roster to advance your team to what the current state of the NFL is right now. But it really looks like the Steelers are stuck in the past, and specifically Art Rooney, on what this team is going to look like and when a good success is for the NFL. It's not running the ball anymore in terms of that being your sole focus. It's not having a run game that's going to go over 2,000 yards. The only teams doing that, like I said, are the Ravens and the Eagles. You have to be able to pass the ball, have a quarterback in the offensive scheme that's reliant on passing the ball, but also mixing in the run game there so often to be able to keep a team balanced. It's not about running the ball and just stopping the run. Most of these teams want to throw the ball and push the ball down the field, so you have to be able to stop that. And if you can't play man-to-man, it just allows the defense and the offense of the other team to just get worn out. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are they stuck in the past? Well, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this topic in general, and your thoughts on the way that Art Rooney says the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do business. Do you believe it should still be running the ball and stopping the run like he says it's going to be? Or do you believe it should be something different? And if you do believe it should be something different, how do you think the Steelers should retool the roster? And what should they do different to start having success and get back into relevancy and start winning football games again? So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below about all of that. And also, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis reports, everything surrounding Pittsburgh Steelers offseason. Now that the season's over, I'm covering it. So stay tuned if you like all things Steelers. And until the next video, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.